The NeuroDADverse podcast is produced by Squid Shack Studios.
Hey, I'm Ben.
And I'm Dan.
We're both fathers,
We're both married.
and we're both raising kids with diagnosed neurodiverse conditions.
Parenting is tough, and we're not saying it's harder for us, just different.
And sometimes that different can be hard to explain.
That's why we've created the NeuroDADverse, a weekly show where we share our wins, our challenges, and all the neurosparkly and neurospicy bits in between.
Our hope is to create a safe space for parents to share their own highs and lows of neurodiverse parenting. And just to remind you of three things.
You're doing great,
You are enough.
and you're definitely not alone.
So welcome to the NeuroDADverse. Hello and welcome back into the NeuroDADverse. It's podcast 4 about and definitely by parents of neurodivergent children. Welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Here we are to share our wins and challenge of the week parenting neurodivergent children. We then look ahead to what is up for us next week, and then we have a look at our bath time scores. I'm Ben. This is Dan. Dan, what's your week been like in 3 words?
So, my week in 3 words. I'm going to put sick, unsettled, and progress.
Okay. I am going to go for choices, cheerful, and boundaries.
The old CCB.
I now need to dig into whether one of your weeks in 3 words sick is because it was really, really good, but from the mid 2010s.
We shall see.
From certain youth fraternity that I used to work with. Okay, cool. What did you get up to this week then that might fall into those words?
So, my week included almost a full week of school, a EHCP review that I did not bring up last week because I had forgotten. There is a trend here. My work life, I'm bang on it, but personal life stuff, I forget. Well, I don't forget. I turn up to it, but anyway.
Oh no! Then this this marrying of work and personal must be really tough.
Yeah, no, I enjoy it. A small day out with me and Name, Uncle Grant play date, and a morning transport standoff.
Ooh, that doesn't sound. Well, maybe it sounds like I was thinking that doesn't sound like a win, but maybe we'll find out. Oscar had another non-uniform day. It was a slightly delayed Children in Need because they had a lot of organisational stuff on Children in Need, so they did a non-uniform day. We had a planned family trip to a wildlife park this weekend. And I took Mabel to a college open event. So, like post-16 stuff. So, yes. And we had a regular week of school for the both of them. So a normal vibe. Cool. Always the way that we start with our challenges. Would you like to go first and tell me whether or not the transport standoff was a win or a challenge?
So you might be correct in assuming one of my two challenges. Oh, actually, it sounds like I've got a live bath update happening through the wall as well. So
What?
if you can hear noises, we can.
I couldn't hear any noises, but can I just say you forgot about the EHCP review, and you forgot to tell me at the top of the podcast that we have a live bath time's happening right now next door.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. I think Frankie might have been knocking on my door there. And he's singing.
Oh, go get it. Go get it if you
him.
need to get it. It's fine. I can fill time. I mean, I say I can fill time. I said fill time, but I was just like there anxiously waiting, looking at the door going, oh, we're going to get to see Frank.
So challenge though. Yeah. So two challenges this week. And it was transport standoff related. So I think it was last week or the week before we said that I had a morning where Frankie left it to the absolute lastest of minutes, although he can most mornings we're either dressed completely ready 5 minutes to spare, or we're partially dressed and then complete the dress process as the minibus comes up onto the drive and beeps to let us know that they're there. On Thursday this week, Amy was off on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I think, just in the mornings for various reasons and different things. We get, who's this? Who?
Hi, Frank.
Who's that?
I got headphones.
Headphones
Frank
off?
have headphones?
Not impressed. You coming back?
That's okay.
Oh no, I'm not allowed them on. You want to say hello? Oh yeah.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Gonna show Frank my earring again.
Look,
Frank, when
who's that? Who is it? Who's that?
For viewers, Frank has been absolutely besotted with my earring.
You want to put them on?
When I have. Hello, Frank.
No. There you go. He's happy.
Good stuff.
He'll just be walking around in the background now. Yeah, Daddy does need these. That's the thing. That's it. I'll put one headphone out so I can hear you. I'll unblur my background.
good.
I forgot my background was blurred. There you go. That's a live Frank in the background. So, Frank, I was just telling him about Thursday morning. Have you got anything you want to say about not being ready for the bus? No. So the challenge was we were partially dressed, bottom half was sorted. But despite the bus turning up and announcing themselves, as I usually do, with toot the horn, and I open the front door and go, look, there they are. He didn't want to get dressed. He was just totally adamant that he didn't want to put his polo shirt on or his jumper. And he knows I'm talking about him. You can see, for those on YouTube, he's given me the occasional stare over the shoulder. He just really didn't want to get dressed. And we decided after about a couple of minutes, I won't say 5 just because they might be listening into the podcast. You never know. As I said a few podcasts ago, they're only meant to give you a couple of minutes to get on board and get going. And
Yeah.
it had definitely been past a few minutes. We're second pickup on the day, 8 o'clock. Yeah, I don't actually need that on to talk. You want to put them on? Go on. And we decided that Amy would take the stuff to the van and go, look, all your bags out there, and you should get dressed and we should go, because he had his shoes on. He had his shoes on and he had his trousers on. So once he saw that, he then just made a runner for the door and ran out to the van in just his vest and his trousers and his school shoes. And then we spent a good couple of minutes, maybe 5 max, trying to get him to put his polo on the van, and we had the crew helping us out and everything. And after a couple of minutes, we did manage to get the polo on. And at that point, we just said, "It's cool, you can go." But that was challenging, wasn't it, Frank? Because he's never actually done that before. And I was like, I hope he doesn't remember this and think this is okay to do over and over again.
When you called it a standoff, my brain immediately went to Frank doesn't want to go on bus.
He loves the bus, and he was probably
exactly. Well, that's what I'm saying.
In his opinion,
good
he's just
though,
like, I
right?
just want to get on. I just want to get on as is, but wasn't quite the way.
But the stand, when you said standoff, I was like, oh
Mm.
no, things have changed because he loves the bus, but actually it's the stand up. Yes.
So that was the first challenge. Oh,
Yeah,
can you hear him singing?
No, it's fine. Of course, I can hear him singing, and I do. I wanted to give him the platform because his voice is awesome.
You want to sing? He's like, I'm not a performing puppet. There's nothing up there for you. There's nothing up there
Yet.
yet.
Listen, I really think that surprised me when you said standoff. I was like, I thought it was going to be having to get him out the door, you versus Frank, but actually, it was Frank versus nice. Frank versus the shirt.
Yeah, it was Frank versus the polo, and
But then that's good, right?
Yeah, no, it was. We got through it, and we're happy about it. So, like, from a win point of view, he did go into school. He didn't not go into school. in theory, they weren't late. I think one of the kids maybe got us back on after school because he turned up nearly 10 minutes later than he normally would in the evening. But other than that, he did go, but it was just we don't really know why. And my other word was unsettled and
Yeah.
just not sure what has been
But
happening.
again, that it's not a search for the reason. The important thing is that you got over the challenge. Do you mind if I ask you how? Do you say you and Amy were there? Yeah.
Yes, yeah, we're both there.
How were you both in that situation?
Yeah,
Because obviously it's that
it's
difficult
stressful.
scenario where one of you has to kind of try to do the polo and the other one has to kind of step back.
Yeah, so initially when Amy's here, mummy is sort of go-to. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna um it's all good when it's just me and him, then he'll come and cuddle me. But if mummy's around, then
Yeah.
it's then yeah, she's alpha. So we I let Amy well, originally, because we saw the time, Amy was like, "You do top, I do bottom," because bottom's more difficult. "Yeah, you wanna sit on me? Come on in." So we did that, and then, obviously, he did mummy's bit, didn't do daddy's bit. So mummy then took his coat and his bag to the van. I was like, "Well, you do that, and I've still got the polo," trying to get him to do things. Um, and then when he ran to the van, Amy was already out there, so he might have just run to the van, partly because Amy was there and partly because he likes going to school.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it was a little bit stressful because we do this thing where when I say we do our sort of natural default is we don't like. Of course, I can cuddle you. We don't like doing things to upset other people as well. So although like Frankie wasn't necessarily in distress, he was only in distress when we were trying to put a polo top on him. Um, so there is another. He is second pickup, so there is another child in the minibus at that time, and we also know that people have got to go to school and are waiting, and obviously their morning routines can go out of whack because we aren't doing our part, as it were. Hello, Frank. Look at you, all podcast professional. So yeah, it was just more of a stress. Well, not a well, yeah, it was just more. We just wanted the situation to sort of be over so everyone can
You
get back on with their day.
you just said don't like doing things that will upset other people. Are you talking about the staff on
No,
the?
the other children that have got to be
Oh yeah.
because obviously he's I mean, granted, they could have just turned up 5 minutes late. No one further down the chain knows what happens before things come to you, unless the staff obviously say. So, for all they know, they were just 5 minutes late. And to be fair, the staff might have just said we was a few minutes late. But we don't want one. I didn't want him to think it's okay not to be fully dressed when the van gets here, and he can get dressed on the van, although he didn't want to get dressed on the van. But then, secondly, we also don't want to I did actually think we might actually have to take him to school when we were going to transport completely. So from that point of view, it was a win because we didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
But secondly,
Good.
we also didn't want to upset the other kids in the thing because then they all start their day bad. And I don't know. I'm assuming I don't think all of the kids are in the same class, so we could be upsetting multiple classes here. And yeah, it's coming
Yeah,
towards the end of
but
the week as well, so we were just trying to limit what other sort of stress
yeah,
responses others
I see
might
what you
have.
mean. That makes sense. That makes sense.
But yeah,
Cool.
so it did turn into a bit of win, and then potentially why he might have been a little bit off, and Amy was like, "I think he's trying to tell us something," and I was like, "Well, he didn't show any sign that he didn't want to go to school because he likes to go to school, but
Mhm.
potentially there was something up." And then on Friday morning, um, he was sick at school. He was sitting at his
Oh,
desk, and then
okay.
he was like projectile sick all over the desk. So we had to go collect him at like 9:45. I think we were there by 10 o'clock. And then he'd spent a day a little bit unwell. So we've been in all this weekend.
Okay.
He seems
Oh,
fine in himself. Like he's
yeah.
chirpy, singing, as you would have heard and seen. And so it might have it could have been anything, any reason that you might have been sick. I don't think he's unwell. Um,
No, but there
but
can be
that
that
kind
thing that
of,
I've
yeah,
definitely experienced that kind of thing where you can notice a little behavioural change in the kid, and then you don't really understand why, and the next day.
yeah.
So both Oscar and Mabel actually have kind of done that, and I don't think it would be too far of a stretch to say, um, sensory understanding of one's own body might be sometimes a little bit more heightened in neurodivergent kids. Certainly my experience is they kind of get a vibe of what's going on.
Yeah.
So I'm glad it wasn't like you versus like Frank intention to get on.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that was
We
our challenge
just
really. Just a bit of an unsettled week
Frank is
due
saying,
to a
I really
sickness.
appreciate, Frank, that you interrupt me. Yeah, interrupt me, not Dad. That's fine.
Well,
To be fair, I love to hear you sing, Frank. So you just keep going. Oh, bless
bless
you.
you. Bless you, Frank. Okay. Shall we go see Mummy now then? I'll just pause the pod quick and then we'll come back because I want to hear what Ben's challenge of the week was.
Well, you might have just worked your way into my top 3 wins of the week, Frank, because this is joyful. I could sit and watch you all day.
Oh, let us know in the
But yeah,
comments.
do you want to come back after this and you can find out whether it was a college open day, a non-uniform day, or a trip to the wildlife park, which was my challenge.
Absolutely. See you in a few.
All right, welcome back into the NeuroDADverse, where sadly it's just me and Dan, no more Frank. But that was a joyful little thing. It's always joyful to see that little human. Okay, so into my challenge now then. Since Mabel was in year 10, it occurred to me that the process for deciding deciding your options for your post 16 might just be a little bit more complicated if you have neurodiverse indicators or are neurodivergent. As always, when I chat about Mabel, we're on a pathway for a diagnosis. Hopefully an update about that maybe next week. So I considered, well, if you need more processing time to consider things, this is already a massive, complicated thing to do. So why not get started early? And there's a network of colleges around us. They all offer different things. Also, all the schools offer different things. And so I thought, when Mabel works things out, it's usually going and feeling it. And if she's going to start to feel comfortable somewhere, wherever that place may be, we just need to start going to these places. So we did. So we went to a local college in kind of the nearest city to us, and it's quite big. I'd say it feels like it feels a bit like a university campus. Like the building is that sized.
So what, double, triple the size of school she's in now?
Oh yeah, at least double.
Right,
At least double.
Oh, just sort of from a sensory point of view, then you're dealing with twice the noise, twice the people.
And also it was it was an evening event. Well, evening 4 till 7 or whatever.
Well, so it'd be dark.
And it was absolutely freezing and absolutely pitch black. So as we're walking in, leaves are crunching under feet, and it was very. And then you're kind of walking down this dark bit, and then there's a huge building with loads of lights, and I was like, so the challenge was like, how do I get her not to just run away from this? And also then how do I get her to be in social situations where I want her just to stay in the room? Do you know what I mean? Like, stay in the room, maybe speak to the tutor, maybe speak to the students, because that's a whole bunch of, like, she'll need that social. I say she does need a bit of scaffolding. Right, like it was very much flight for it's not Halloween anymore. Flight, fight, freeze, or fawn. And I wanted it more to be the fawning sense. So she was like, "Oh, I want to please you, so I want to talk to you, and I want." And I just wanted to experience it. But the challenge was, we're logged in. I'd done a pre-register, so she got a prospectus and a map. This map had 2 sides to the A4 sheet. The build it is like a top-down buildings, and then level 1, 2, 3 for this, level 1, 2, 3 for that. And I hadn't been to this place before, and so she went down the list of things that she wanted to look at. She circled them, but then looked up and was like, I'm in the middle of this concourse, like I don't know what to do, and there are people going everywhere. There's a lot of energy. Everyone can parent their child the way that they want to parent their child, but there was lots of I guess just pushy parent energy. It's like, come on, you've got to know what we need to do. Like, well, you should really be going looking at sciences. Oh, I don't really want to do that. Like that energy between the, and I was very much stood there going, she just needs to work this out. And I really hope she doesn't say, can we go? I just want to go. And I said, we don't have to go to the subjects first. I'm not going to push you to anything. We can go to the wellbeing hub bit if you want. Like, let's do that. But it was a super challenge for her to just be in that space. I probably would argue it's never ever going to be as busy as it was on the open day or the open event, right?
No, that's totally true, because you'll have parents that aren't walking up. You've probably got 2-3
Yeah,
times
well,
extra people. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And also, not all of those kids who apply are going to go there. But so I said I could just pick one and we'll go to one. And she's like, I don't know. I don't know what I want to do I? And I was like, oh, okay, I don't want to get into that fight. I was like, well, it's okay. We're here to explore. And it was partly like, do I want to just take her around with me and be that parental energy that I'm seeing and that's not super useful? Or do I want her to experience it for herself so that she feels most comfortable? And I was like, okay, shall I just go over to that person, like a student with the ambassador thing, and just ask where one place is? And when they direct us, we can then go there. And she went, all right. So I said, okay, pick an area. So we looked at a lot of areas. We picked performing arts and drama first, and we got a tour from these very nice people. And I started to step slightly slower so that she was taken round by the the current student there. And the student was obviously like guiding and going, oh, this is, and we got to walk across the stage in the little theatre bit they have there, and her eyes widened a bit. And I was like, this is okay. But then she kept going, why are you walking so far behind me? And I was like, oh, sorry, I'm just a bit slow. And she kind of cottoned on.
How slow were
Then we
you
had
being? Were
some,
you being like deliberately like shuffling like?
I Mabel will always tell a story of when she went for her settling in day at her primary school, and I dropped her off, and we were allowed to kind of go in for a bit. And then I don't know how many other parents this have had this scenario, but then you kind of get a teacher or a TA kind of look at you and kind of nod when the kid's into something. But like, I kind of knew. So I kind of sat down and I was like, I just sat down and I started colouring. And then Mabel started doing that too. And then the TA came over and I went, I'm just going to the loo, Mabes. She nodded. I just walked out and never came back. So she tells quite a
Longest
funny
wee ever.
story now. Yeah. I'm just going to the toilet. I didn't come back until she was had to be picked up halfway through the day. So I was tempted to do that a couple of times, but I thought this is a bit like she's got a lot more going on
Yeah.
today. So then we did a couple of other areas. A lot of them were like corridors with lots of rooms off of, which were very, very, very busy. So just to walk into that room, and you know, when you walk into those types of places, maybe you don't, like there's a couple of teachers and a couple of students all talking to other people, and you kind of have to wait your turn.
Mhm.
I always feel really awkward from the professional's perspective, just stood there going, I'm talking to someone, I'm always scanning the door to think, well, if you want to come and do my subject, or you want to find out information, if you walk in and you're stood there for 3 or 4 minutes and no one's talked to you, I don't think that's a good experience. But
I'd agree.
you can't talk to 10 people at a time. So I'd be very much so yeah, she had better experience in different places, but we looked at, I think she saw a completely different experience of education. So we went to the makeup studios. We looked at what the theatrical media makeup site was like. And I did that thing where I was like, oh yeah. So some of the students were walking around with like wound art, like special effects makeup.
Yep.
And so I was like, oh, I said, I made a joke, obviously. And I went, oh no, look, you've been hurt. You don't need to go down to the public services so you can get a paramedic. And they laughed at me. And Mabel rolled her eyes. And I thought, that's fine. Doesn't matter. I'm your dad. I'm supposed to follow that role. And then they said, oh, do you like doing this stuff? And she went, yeah, kinda. And I said, maybe you did about 5 different looks for your social media for Halloween. She was like, yeah. And then she scrolled through some of them, and the person was genuinely like, oh, wow, that's really cool. And then she got a little bit of a boost by that. And I went, oh, what's that over there? And then I wandered away. So it was just super challenging because I needed to know how much to just go,
Yeah.
how much to encourage and do it alongside her, and how much to just plonk her there and move away. So we just had, and each room was different. And she's just, I just noticed that she was being quite perceptive about things. I just need to drag up a thing that I found. And yeah, it kind of occurred to me that in terms of education, I was doing this is a bit of work and parent crossover. There's a really nice acronym that you can use called PINCH, which is in a way to get your dopamine through the task that you're doing. So PINCH, right? So you either involve it in play, an interest, a novelty, something that's collaborative, or some humor.
That's cool. I like that. Not heard of that before. That's cool.
And yeah, and I just thought, like, I was thinking about it for work. Just like if I've set an activity in class, if it's not hitting one of those, it's not best practice. Now, not everything is able to do all of those, but that's what you should aim for, one of those. And I was thinking, oh, actually, Mabel has some particular interests, but then if this room is not necessarily set out in a novel way, so for example, the makeup studio was really novel. She hadn't been run in one really, but I would guess some of the media rooms were a bit more just computers and keyboards, right? So yeah, I was just reflecting on that a bit. So it was quite challenging. She just had a long day. She got up early, and then afterwards we walked into the part of the city where we were close to, and like had some dinner. But she was like, I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want that. I want that. And she was really specific about like what she wanted. So we ended up getting pizza, which was good, and she was able to kind of reflect. Thankfully, really thankfully, my mobile phone died of battery right as we sat down for dinner. So I was like, cool. So I was like, okay,
Uninterrupted time.
yeah, I was like, okay, rank the teachers that talked today from best to worst, like off of the open day. And then she was able to kind of get into like why she didn't pick up a vibe from this particular person, why what they were describing sounded rubbish or good. And interestingly, she then said over dinner, so most of the kids there were probably year 11. I went, yeah. And she was like, right, when do you need to give your applications in? Because they were talking about, so that this particular college does like taster days. So you can apply for courses. And then when you've applied for the courses, they'll offer you an open day. And you can do
Nice.
that open day for as many courses as you like. And she asked, and they said, I'll get your application in because you definitely can do the open day. And I went, oh, did Mabel tell you that she's year 10? And they was like, oh, no, sadly, that's only for year 11s. And she went, but that lets you know what we do for next year. So it's good coming early. And she said, so when do you normally have to put these applications in? And I said, oh, well, people recommend doing them there's a whole like county-wide system they use. And she said to me, why are the year 11s only looking now? I said, well, they might have come last year too. But she's like, but if they didn't, they have now, it's mid-November, and they kind of got to get their application in December. And I was like, yeah. And she said, but why wouldn't you have wanted to go
Mhm.
so that was like, that was the big win out of that challenge, because it was a big like sensory challenge, but it was a big win because I was like, oh, you know what? Your brain has started to figure out, like, I've been to that place. Can I see myself at that place? And for her particularly, I think that's going to be really useful. Whether she goes there or somewhere else. We've got another one next week at a different college that's closer to us. Won't do the same courses, but
Well, she's got a
she'll
benchmark
just,
now, isn't she? Yeah, the fact that she's trying to work out
yeah,
in her head the pathway to entry is awesome.
mm,
So,
yeah,
uh,
because she's having a rough time at school, and I think it's important for her to see that, like, it can end. Do you know what I mean? Like, after that, you've still got 2 years, and it doesn't have to be as
Hmm.
tough. She's explaining. Sorry, go on. Sorry.
Well, no, just to say, also she can go again next year and do exactly the same, but go.
Mhm.
This is what I want to do because if she's now back burner thinking,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
for the
100%.
next year, she could be like, actually, I want to check out this, and I've got these questions I want to ask, and then be really, really nice to hear how you know, explain that experience, hopefully in a
Yeah,
year's time.
yeah.
So my cheeky question just before we cut to a quick break, the how cool was their media department compared to your media department? Was it more than keyboards and screens?
Yes, they had very cool digital display boards that you could then write on, which was kind of cool. It's difficult to compare, just because one does practical media production courses and the other does
I
uh
know it was a
tutoring.
harsh question. I just wanted to see your initial response said it all. You're like,
Although,
I'm going to be diplomatic.
to be fair, many more staff, like big computer rooms, cameras out, all that type of stuff. Big, like, drawing tablet pads for the animation studio and stuff. So yeah, really cool stuff that is always at a college, but um, uh, yeah, just the way it's different from schools to depends on the course you run, I think. Yeah.
It's a very good
Weirdly,
diplomatic answer.
yeah, but weirdly, I didn't think about the comparison when I was there.
Oh, I would have been straight in and go, oh, so they use that equipment. So that means they have that because they
I
use
did
that
have
camera.
proud
They have
dad.
that.
I have very quickly before the break. I did have proud dad moment, because obviously the teachers are there sussing out questions about, like, do you know this? Do you know that? What's your favorite thing about that? Oh, you like films? Do you? It's not a rude thing. Do you like films? Do you? What is this? But yeah, said one of the tutors asked her, do you know what a Foley artist does? And she went, is that when you create sounds with your mouth and and not by using other, like, and using your hands and feet? And I just kind of stood back and was like, I don't think I even taught her that, but the
That's
apple doesn't
amazing.
fall the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Anyway, we will be back after this short break that Dan's gonna organise in post-production, which the skills he learned by doing a media studies course at university and his post-16. Got a question or want to share a story? Drop us a message on Instagram or email us at NeuroDADverse@gmail.com. Look after yourselves. We're here to talk about our wins of the week before we crash straight into the bath time scores. Dan, what was your biggest win of the week, pal?
So I won't lie. If you were watching on YouTube, I might have to do a little bit of a disclaimer at the beginning of this episode, just to go. We get a visit from my son who speaks in his own language.
Sings.
Sings, yeah, it's mostly singing, I suppose. So I can appreciate if you was on YouTube, it will make a lot of sense. But having my headphones taken off constantly whilst trying to navigate what he's doing, trying not to have a tech failure, and let him be him in his first appearance on the podcast. That was actually that was part of my win, but I can't. It's not on the list because obviously that was happening sort of live then. But Frankie has wanted on a few occasions to sort of come in the room or whatever, but obviously when you're coming out of bath, it's not always easy. So yeah, that was a nice little win. My main win of the week. Well, yes, I have a minor one and I have a large one. So EHCP review was great.
Yep. Cool.
After last week or the week before, saying that don't always have particularly optimistic, I think we agreed on the terminology, conversations. It was a really, really lovely meeting with Yusenko. She's lovely. She has a son that is teenager now, ASD, ADHD. She gets it. So I think for a Senko, I couldn't ask really for uh, a better CV, really. She said that Frankie's hit all of his targets from the review last time we met. They've already updated and have already started working on his new ones. A lot of he's showing progress in his toilet training, which I'll drop the small win in here. He has started to show signs that he is showing us when he might want to go for a wee. Because it's obvious when he's going for a poo, but it has never been obvious when he wants to go for a wee. So we're now starting to show signs that he is now getting understandings or feelings of when he might want to go. So that's really good. So the only target that he hasn't really fully met from his EHCP is obviously he's still needing help to go to the toilet, but he takes staff by the hand. He takes them to the room to imply that he needs to change because he has done a poo, or he wants to go for a wee, and he has done stand-up wees at school. So that's really good, and we knew that he was trying to do that. So that was good. A lot of his other his milestones were around focusing and on adult-led activities. So doing the handwriting and stuff now, that kind of ticks that off the box. Now they're trying to get his attention for over 5 minutes. It was a few minutes. Now it's got, I think it's over 5 minutes and 10 minutes. So that will be interesting to see if they can keep him. That would be nice. And the emotional bit, I suppose, of the review was they basically said that, I'm not going to say they're friends, but he's basically building relationships with at least half of his class now. They named 5 other children's names, saying that Frankie plays and is interacting and building relationships with his classmates. One of which that we do see, and I talk about on the podcast, that they go to the same gyms and stuff at the weekends. And we were friends with his sister as well, so he does see them a lot. But to hear that he has. Last year they did mention one kid's name. We go, oh, he kind of interacts with this kid, and then to hear that name again, and then added a three others, I was like, wow. So that was kind of, me and Amy were sitting there like, this is so cool. So they said he's making friends. I don't know if we would classify it as friends. We're just happy that he's making relationships and he's being more social. But we have seen that he is being more social at home when it comes to just being more comfortable telling friends and family when they're around. He wants them to do something. People that are new or he doesn't really know particularly well, he will come up to them, engage with them, and try and get them to, he tests them to see if they will communicate in the way that he communicates. So that was just really, really, really nice to hear.
Amazing.
And then they did sort of set up a challenge for September. I know, Dan, we're only in December. Well, not even in December this year. There was mention of progression into moving into another class next year. And if he does, he probably won't have the same support staff and teacher, but the teacher in the next class I've met briefly and seems awesome, and the Senko said they're really, really cool. So yes, it's kind of letting us know that potentially before the end of the school year, if there is space and things move and progress, because they're opening 2 more classrooms for younger kids than Frankie.
But if not, they'll stay with that current teacher.
At the moment, potentially. But so they're just telling us potentially in the future he is going to make the jump, whether it's as soon as I open these 2 new classrooms and they just need to put the younger kids in that classroom. But at the moment he's doing really well.
It's super important if he doesn't make the move to the new class. Like Oscar, through their primary, stayed in with the same teacher, didn't go up. Expression. So stayed in the class for 2 years with the same teacher to do the same stuff again. That makes sense.
Yeah. Frankie's in his 3rd year, but this is only the 2nd year with his current teacher. He had different teachers year 1.
So what they did with Oscar was that Oscar ended up kind of like being a big brother in the classroom. I mean, that wasn't like what they said, but they said that's what had happened. Because Oscar realized that Oscar had done those things before, so Oscar was able to help people around. And
that's amazing.
So that sounds great, mate. Sounds great.
So there was just a really nice positive, and we've known. Obviously, we had parents' evening a few weeks ago, and the teacher said stuff. But obviously, this is from the Senko's point of view and from his targets for his EHCP. So
cool.
So that was nice. That was nice. That was my win.
Cool. So Wildlife Park is ours.
Nice.
You might be thinking, hang on, there was a non-uniform day. We've had chat about that before. We had non-uniform day. I didn't realise because I thought it was children in need, but it was a week later because they had a lot of other stuff going on in the school. Non-uniform was Oscar. It's non-uniform day. Oscar sprang up red. When? Tomorrow? I said, yes. So I need to get all of that. I've pointed out, Oscar, we need to do fashion show. So I will get out 4 items. We can do the randomized create your character's look on any computer game vibe. Customize your character is what I'm looking for. We can do the customized screen, and then we can make a choice and send to mum, and I can show you the photos, the school photo and the catwalk photo. And Oscar went, Dad, I'm just going to choose myself. So, and I was like,
Okay.
okay, that's just gonna be in 10 minutes. I'm gonna have to help. It's gonna be a freak out. But no, just chose their own thing, and then was like,
As in straight away.
okay. Well, they only came to ask me some follow-up questions, which was, do you think I can wear heels? And I was like, wear what you want, Oscar. And Oscar was like, not sure. Maybe I'll take heels and wear flats. I was like, yeah, 100%. They took heels. I don't think they wore them. But they said, the one thing they did say was, do I need to take a pound? I said, yeah, but mum will help you sort that out in the morning. He went, Dad, get the pound now. I went, why? He said, Mum, it will be stressful for mum in the morning and won't find a pound. That thing came true. It was stressful. They did eventually find a pound. They were looking everywhere. They eventually found one. And then Laura turned around and there was one on the shelf right next to her. But yeah, that just went off without a hitch. And I was like, okay, really preparing myself for like customization screen. And if I'm honest, I missed that because I was disappointed. But yeah, Oscar just did that. So that wasn't a challenge. But in a way, it was a lovely win. It was just a normal thing. No, we went to a wildlife park that we used to take the kids to. I particularly used to take the kids to best part of 8 to 9 years ago. It was a space that was nice to wander around. And then they had a soft play, which was big enough that if Oscar got into any trouble, I could see. We sussed it out, and Oscar seemed to like. It did have some harrowing memories for me because Oscar would get into some scraps with other kids and it would be uncomfortable, and other parental, you just have really nasty interactions where you just try to explain
Right.
about your child, and also just processing time to get off of things, or having to climb halfway up a thing when a jungle gym when Oscar was really hung up. So we went with our friends who had some younger primary school age kids, and it was just nice. Mabel was supposed to come with us, and then they decided to go meet their friend elsewhere. So, which was a shame because the wildlife park's kind of like expanded and grown. They've got many more animals and a bit more of a streamlined thing. And it was a real lovely win to kind of sit there and go, oh, Oscar, do you remember this place? And Oscar kind of went, oh, I know this place. And I almost came over a little bit upset. But I remember that. I've been here before. But didn't necessarily remember the negative things that I remembered. So it was really nice. And we actually wandered through. They got a whole new since I've been there. They got a whole new nocturnal house. So we were stood there for quite a long time watching some bats, and that was pretty cool. Oscar was like, didn't quite mind. Oscar said, I want to see wolves, and the wolves are quite close to the entrance. I was like, I've seen wolves now, Dad. I was like, oh, please don't let me like this. But yeah, it was lovely. We saw a lion roar, which I'd never seen before in my life, which was good. And Oscar really wanted to go in the soft play, and the kids were going to go in the soft play, and then we decided that they wouldn't. They were going to play outside. Oscar wasn't allowed to go in the soft play because it's only 12 and under. And I said, maybe we can do it if you go and support the younger kids. And just having to have that conversation and set that boundary and stick to it, and Oscar understand it. Laura was like, "Oh, could we just let him go in?" And I was like, "I've already said, let's read the rule." We read the rule. Oscar read the entire sentence, and we were like, I was like, we have to kind of keep it up. We'll just see how it goes. So instead, Oscar sat in the cafe, had a decaf coffee, watched something on their phone, and then was disappointed. But that's okay, because that's a human emotion, and neurodivergent people feel those too.
Yep. And
As
not a
a parent, I
meltdown.
was
Yeah.
like, yeah, it wasn't a meltdown. And I was like, I've had meltdowns here before, and I could be setting ourselves up for one. But I was like, no, just stay where you are. And we did. And it was lovely. And Oscar had a joyful time. It
That's
was nice.
amazing.
Yeah, it was nice. And we didn't get round to all of the park, and there's like a dinosaur exhibit thing that we didn't quite get round to. Saw a bear. That was cool. Yeah, just was really nice.
I was going to ask if you saw a bear.
Yeah, we did.
Sounds
We
like,
did
yeah,
see a
nice.
bear.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was lovely. And then yeah, come home and had a really nice day. And for it to be that particular place, I hadn't really considered that Oscar would necessarily remember. So
No,
yeah,
that's amazing. The fact that they
lovely.
saw the exhibit they wanted to, exhibit animal they wanted to see straight away, and then still want to carry on, and then take the
Yeah.
can't go into a soft play in their
And they were
strides.
super kind and super like respectful of the other kids. One's like preschool age, and the other's like mid-primary age of our friends. So it was kind of good. Oscar was chewing gum and blowing bubbles, and that was the fascination of the little one.
That's
So, yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, it was good. While
So
we're
do,
on,
d-
sorry, go
sorry.
on.
So do you think that Oscar likes environments where they can be a big brother, like you said the word big brother earlier, like mentor?
Yeah.
Because that is something that sometimes gets sort of you come across in the community, that obviously because he is a younger sibling in your family structure, he is the baby.
Yeah,
Do you think that they kind of enjoy and thrive not being that in other environments?
I would say that on the rare occasion that Oscar gets that opportunity, like they have been talking about how they are a supportive person to some year sevens at school. At Christmas, when we meet up with other people, it can depend if I'm not sure. Sometimes they quite like the idea of being older, so therefore being able to scare the younger children, not in a really mean way, but in a way in which I think they like to perform and present. They don't realize how scary they actually might be. But yeah, I do think there's also a kind of caring nature, and a nurturing nature to Oscar. But yeah, I'm not sure if they would necessarily say that. But yeah, they
Do you think
certainly
they
are.
do they act different? Do you feel like they act, like walk different, carry themselves different? Like, is it something
No,
they think they do?
I haven't. I haven't necessarily noticed that.
Okay.
I do think different to how they interact with their sister. Yeah, certainly. But
Okay.
no,
I see Frankie.
plenty more data for that to come up, because it's
True.
coming up to the time we see family.
Yeah, I think Frankie is fascinated by particular babies, like newborn babies,
Yeah.
because of the noises they make, but also they sound very similar to how he vocalizes as well. So maybe he's a bit like, "Whoa, you might have just said half of my word,"
Yeah, that's
but he
interesting.
also likes going up and up. He will like touch their head, or he'll rub their legs if they're, um, if they're being held. It's like he is curious slash can show a softer side to him, because
Yeah.
like I say, you either exist in his world or you don't, and that's why
Yeah,
the fact
yeah.
he's now interacting with 5 other kids on a regular basis is huge. So I just thought I'd ask the question, because
Yeah.
I do see
No, I
and
hadn't
hear
really
things
considered
where
it, but like
neurodivergent kids
I
can
think
be
it's on a case
very,
by case
very good.
basis with Oscar. I
Mm.
think it's on a case where
Okay.
I was sticking on wins because last week's terrible bath time, nearly 4-hour epic, was a 4 out of 10.
Okay.
This week was 30 minutes at Oscar's request.
At
Oscar
Oscar's
bath take.
request.
Yeah, well, Oscar Oscar goes, "Dad, bath time takes so long." I said, "You can do as quick as you want." And I feel like a light bulb went off, and it was like, "What, do I have to wait till when then?" Okay, because I've been
Oh,
doing
wow.
when then, and then I've been coming back, and he's like, "More time, need more time." And Oscar kind of, I don't know if just a bit of a sprain, something switched in Oscar's brain, where Oscar was like, I'm going to become mum and just get the job done, get in, get out. But yeah, 30 minutes, they've done everything. I would say if I was rating how good the hair um, shampooing and conditioning was, it's not a great score, but it wasn't bad enough that I had to go redo it, right? So yeah, I'm my bath time score. I'm jumping well ahead to the bath time scores, and we'll have to loop back to look ahead to the week ahead because
That's fun. You're excited, I can tell.
I was
This is
so
good.
yeah, it was 30 minutes, well, almost give or take, but it was only under 45, and yes, I'm giving it an 8 out of 10 because of that. I don't know what's going to happen in a minute when I get off pod and go, but yeah, it just so happened that Oscar, in fact, was impatient to get out and get things done, and
Clearly, they
then
had
was
somewhere
like,
to be.
well,
An online meeting for a game or
yes,
something
maybe,
that
well, maybe
they were
that's it.
doing.
Maybe. No, but then I was like, "Oh, come on then, we'll do your hair." And Oscar went, "I'll do it." So, I don't know, maybe maybe we might have turned the corner and I'll get some hours back on a Sunday, but who knows?
Well, you could
Who
actually
knows?
watch Lord of the Rings in the time that you just got there. That's crazy. That's amazing.
I mean, yeah, if I start watching Lord of the Rings, I think that might deter Oscar from, actually doing what they need to do and going to bed. They're quite a fan. It's all ghouls and goblin stuff. They love that stuff.
Uh,
What
okay.
about Barcelona for you? I
So
mean, I
I
feel like that's a 10 out of 10 tonight, right?
I was typing away at the yeah, if this clip gets shared on social media, it'll be like, why is Dan not looking while Ben's telling a great story? And I'm like, Amy hasn't updated me. So
Okay.
she sent me she sent me I think this is a slightly confusing message to be fair, but she put 6 crap and a kiss. I just said bath score please. And she put 6 crap kiss. And I was like, that's confusing to me because if she's giving it a 6 and she's saying it's crap, then I don't know what a 4 out of 10 would get you. Um,
Uh,
I mean, he got in the bath. I ran the bath. He got in the
I
bath
mean,
before I came
what
in
she's
to
probably
record.
thinking is 1, 2, 3, 4,
He was
5.
cleaning his teeth when I left him. I don't know.
Uh, she's probably thinking 6, crap, lowest since early August. That's what she's probably thinking because she clearly looks at
Yeah,
the spreadsheet, but isn't
maybe.
even a spreadsheet. Um, okay.
So yeah, 6. What? But when I left, I would have been saying it was sort of trending upwards from a 6 to a 7 when I left, and he'd only been in the bath a handful of minutes at that point. But yeah, then obviously it ended with Frankie's
It's
first
not good
appearance
to
on the
be
pod.
arrogant, Dan. When I left, we were up at
No,
9.
no. To
I'm
clarify,
kidding.
no.
I'm
To clarify,
kidding.
I was not in charge of bath time. I was simply saying that when I said I'm going off to
I see.
record
I see.
now,
It's
everything was
fine.
trending in the right direction, and
Yeah. Okay.
she was coming back into the room because she was
Hey,
just
it's fine.
setting up the pajamas and all that, all the
Sixes are
important
wins.
post stuff.
Sixes are always wins.
I will
So
get
it's
an
a
update.
6. Okay.
I'll ask exactly what happened for it to be crap. I don't know.
Hey.
We'll have to see, but we'll take it.
Um,
He was happy.
and
Happy.
still the favorite names part of the podcast, but yet to have a jingle. No stress, no pressure. Whenever it happens, it happens. It's look ahead to the week ahead.
Well, there you go. Now you've given me the perfect little
You're
audio
gonna clip
snippet
that
to
bit
it.
up.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do some recording off air. Is that a thing? Is it still the 90s? Yeah, what's coming up for you? I said I've got that another open evening for Mabel. There are some. Is that a late start? Yeah, I
It's
think.
your calendar, bud.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you have to press the button to see what actually it is because it's got. Anyway, Mabel's got some more medical appointments going on this week. Um, Laura seems to have put a a dog walk in the calendar, which never happens, ever. Sorry, not that the dog walk doesn't happen, it
It's
never
gone
goes
in
in
the
the
calendar.
calendar, so I feel like that means another human is coming on a dog walk, so don't know if Oscar might join on that. Potential London trip at the weekend with Mabel, and then I think
It's quite a busy week.
I think, don't come for us in the comments, the 30th of November is Christmas decorations time, because we start with my side of the family big Christmas for my auntie who's in some residential care on the first weekend. So this is the weekend that we will do Christmas decks. So
Ooh.
we'll see how that goes.
I'll be interested to hear. I have lots of questions already, just to compare our experiences with Christmas
Well, I
decorations.
get to explain to you. That also means that next week's pod I might have tinsel on me, because it can be quite the thing. Yeah, but next week I can definitely tell you what the Franken tree is.
Nice. So
It's nothing to do with your micro-human.
well, I say he's the part for the nativity every year. Frankincense is it's there for him, innit? We'll see. My week. So I know I forgot we had a parents' evening, and I know I forgot to mention we had an EHCP review.
It's okay.
I triple checked with Amy pre-pod.
Hang on, new podcast feature. What's Dan gonna forget this week?
Okay. I say in my work life, I'm very, very much on it. My
It's
personal
fine,
life,
don't worry.
things slip away. I can only focus on one.
Forgetfulness is being human, anyway.
So all I have from Amy to report to the pod, we're not expecting any big events. Next Saturday meant to be. It's in, all plans are in pencil, obviously. Trip to go see great granddad, or my granddad, Frank's great granddad. Over about an hour and a bit's car drive away. He normally enjoys it. So yeah, hoping to do that for pre-Christmas.
Nice.
And then there is a local council parent engagement meeting for parents with children in the disabilities team, which is an online virtual event that Amy's hoping to attend and I'm hoping to attend.
It's such a shame it's an online virtual event.
Well, we went to the last one in person.
Take your child. Let people actually see. No, well, sorry.
Well, it's during school
I'm quite
time.
an advocate for this. If you're having an in-person meeting about neurodiversity or neurodivergent needs, then that needs to be an inclusive space.
Yeah.
Commonly, what it is rows of chairs for people to sit down in silence and listen to someone for an hour.
Yeah.
Now, that's not necessarily every experience of every meeting, but my point is, well, if this isn't accessible, and you're talking about how to make things accessible and adaptable,
yeah, maybe that's why they choose to do it during the school day.
Might be in my bonnet sometimes about how people talk a lot about these conditions, but aren't necessarily willing to adapt. For example, look how natural it was for us to just go, "Oh, Frank's here."
Yeah.
And this
exactly.
is it, and that could have been very much for us to go, probably should we cut and do that bit again, Dan? Because this has interrupted. But actually, no, the adaptability is, this could happen and things could go down this route. But that sounds exciting. Like, have you got,
and that's it,
like,
really.
it could be, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so just in terms of, we're hoping it'll be a full week of school.
Nice.
As he can go back tomorrow because he hasn't been unwell.
Are you guys going as a family to your granddad's?
It will be me and Frankie. We're actually running out of weekends before Christmas where we're all together and all free, because obviously now you start to do the social part. We are a social family. Frankie's becoming more social, but me and Amy, we do like keeping up with people and trying to keep meeting up with people and whatever else. And
yeah, nice.
Frankie's getting a little bit better at it when we host more than we go out. But yeah, now we're getting up to Christmas. You've got work dues and you've got family catch ups and whatever. So I think we're all traveling up in one car as well. So that makes it a bit easier from a family point of view. We just travel up in one car as opposed to multiple. But yeah, I don't have. I'm not going out anywhere for work or anything next week. So again, nothing major expected. So tune in next week to find out how wrong I was again.
Nice. Also tune in next week to find out if both Mabel and I met our side of the deal. Mabel played football today. She wanted her boots cleaned, but she said, "Dad, can you do them, please?" It's the first real time it's been this winter season where they've been absolutely caked in mud. She doesn't like that. And I said, "Yeah, sure. What's the deal then? Because they're not my boots. Like, what are you going to do?" She went, "Oh, I'll clean my room," and then immediately regretted it. So
Oh, wow.
I'll go do some boots. I'll see if she's going to clean her room.
Well,
Tune
there you
in
go.
next week.
Well,
See how that works.
that's what you get to do with the new time for half-hour bath time with Oscar. So
Yeah, well, that.
I'm trying not to jinx it, but I can't
No, it's
also
fine.
not say.
I sometimes I really regret doing the bath time after podcast and then waiting a week to tell you, because I'm just like, oh man, I'm hoping this one's a win. But hey, you can only do the bath that's in front of you.
Exactly. And last week was a win. So there you go.
Yeah, indeed.
You're on hot form. That's good.
Indeed. Lovely stuff. All right. Thank you for listening to us chat about our neurodivergent children and how we have experienced the week with them. This is, of course, the NeuroDADverse. If you enjoy listening to it and you would like to get in touch, comment, or like, subscribe, all of those things, you can find us on Instagram and TikTok. We are the NeuroDADverse. And if you want to get in contact for a bit more detail, or you want to open a conversation with us, please find us at NeuroDADverse at gmail.com. And remember, there's 3 little things that Dan's going to tell you.
You are enough. You're doing great, and you're certainly not alone.
Indeed. Have a lovely rest of your week, mate.
Andrew, Philip, have a good week,
you
everyone.
later.
Win the week.
That's about it for the NeuroDADverse. We'll be back next week.
If you laughed, cried, or nodded in tired agreement, don't forget to follow us and leave a review. It helps more parents find us.
Just remember, you're doing great.
You are enough, and you are definitely not alone.
Got a question or want to share a story? Drop us a message on Instagram or email us at neurodadverse@gmail.com. Look after yourselves.